Hello, this is Michael Hartman, licensed mental health counselor, back at you again with another video. I'm recording this October 3rd on a chilly day, and if you're watching this during the fall, the winter or the early spring, and you're also a little chilly, I hope you're staying nice and warm. So today we're going to be going over a very valuable idea when it comes to building mental and emotional wellness. It's the idea that undergirdles all of the coping skills, and I guess it's maybe even the philosophy that helps us use our skills towards the end of being well. And that is an understanding that you are worth changing for, you are good, and that if something is troubling you, making you hyper anxious, making your mood in the dumpster, low, feeling depressed, if you're struggling with irritation and frustration that is maybe even ruining, maybe that's the right word, ruining your quality of life. Or if you're dealing with more severe mental health issues stemming from a biological predisposition to, you know, mania, which would, you know, bear the diagnosis of bipolar disorder. Or even if you have psychotic issues, and that's the term for, you know, really the schizophrenia family of disorders. That's the idea. Psychosis means you're separated from reality. If you know, you got, so to say, smacked back into reality, um, and you're aware again of yourself, your surroundings, your vulnerabilities, and you're not living them out without insight. If you're back, so to say, with a clear mind, this even applies to you as well. You are good, you are worthy, and just to focus on the last one, you're worthy of the effort it takes to change. Change is very hard. If it was so easy to change, I'd have a Tom Ford suit on right now. What do I mean by that? Tom Ford runs in only in smaller sizes. I'd drop some pounds if it was so easy to change. You know, if it was so easy to change, people who bite their nails. I'm not saying I bite my nails. I just cut them short. But people who bite their nails would just stop. Say, oh, you know what? It's not good for me. I bit too deep. I bled a little bit. Not for me anymore. Change. Change person. There's a Michael Jackson song, Man in the Mirror, where he talks about the deep introspection of change, that you really have to look yourself down in the mirror and try to make that change. Probably not quoting that right, but you get the idea. It really has to come from a positive sense of dignity and self respect that will get you to make long term and sustainable change. Now, this is easier said than done. Self loathing, at the minimum at least, is part of the human condition. We are self conscious creatures. So there will always be a root inside of us that criticizes and maybe not to the level of demean, but looks within constructively to change. It's only when that root is built upon in a negative way. In cognitive therapy, we call it a negative schema. Schema is a self belief, right? A belief about yourself that you're no good. And it's from that core belief that you treat yourself accordingly. So it's very important that if you really feel like you're hating on yourself, or if there is a part of you in that magnificent brain of yours that shoots message at you, you're not good enough, everyone else is better than you, you'll never fit in, you're not good the way you are, you're a piece of, and then fill in the blank with the bad word. you know you have to start working on that. So how do we do that? How do we start working on it? This isn't just going to be theoretical, it's going to be practical as well. So it's a twofold process of starting to play around with this idea of a positive self esteem, a positive view of yourself. The first thing that you have to do is try to neutralize as best as you can the negative felt experience of dread, anxiety, um, any, you have to try to neutralize negative felt experience as best as you can. I'm not saying you're going to do it 100%. I'm not saying you should do it 100%. Sometimes we need a little kick in the butt to do the right thing. It's that way for anxiety. You should never eliminate anxiety completely. But if what DBT calls in the red zone, where you're at a point of overwhelming feeling of negative experience, whether that be tightness in your chest, whether that be like you're swamped in your brain with just negative thoughts and spiraling negative thoughts, or your stomach's hurting you. It's usually a combination of physical and psychological. We have to try to break free from that. And what I find is the best way, and it could be different for you, but I'll just pass on to you what I know, is the usage of your breath. Your breath's always there to anchor you. It's tied very much to either your stress response by going, that actually triggers cortisol to be released. It makes your heart beat faster, it says you're in danger. Or nice deep breathing. So in these moments where you're feeling like, you know, you're really stressed, you're really upset, you might actually even be self-criticizing in these moments. You don't have to be, but it's really during any moment of intense negative felt experience. It's very important to try to ground yourself to your breath, which tends to invite, I wouldn't say quite relaxation, but it is a bit of an antidote to that negative feeling. So we try to take a nice deep breath in and out. And again, we breathe in and out. And in this time, we might say, I'm breathing in fresh air. And I'm trying to breathe out some of my stress. And you can continue trying to say that to yourself. Now, when you found yourself, you've come down from an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 is a much bigger struggle than a 4 out of 10. And you're coming down to a 5, a 4, maybe a 6, but you're feeling a little bit back in control. It's important for you to start telling yourself in this moments where you feel like you're in control that I don't deserve to feel such intense negative experience. And let's say let's say you make them, let's say you're a sensitive person and, emotions hit you hard. Then maybe you just don't deserve to linger in it, to get lost in it. Tell yourself that you're worth all the effort that self-care takes. In my mind, self-care is very nourishing, but if one is not truly receptive to it, then it doesn't absorb into you, it doesn't nourish you, it doesn't rehydrate your spirit. So you could say to yourself, I'm worth feeling something calm. I'm worth feeling something positive. I'm worth to go take that walk. I'm worth the break in my schedule. I'm worth trying to break the cycle of worry that happens in my head and that makes me sick physically. And combined with coping skills like this deep breathing, other things you might be learning in therapy and from your own self-study, you're going to find that combining both the change behavior of taking care of yourself when you're not feeling well and the cognitive, the thought-based intervention that you're doing, working on building up a positive view of yourself, you're going to find that these two things meld together and will bring you more peace, more wellness. Maybe won't reduce all the stresses in your life. It's not going to tell your boss to lay off of you. It's not going to make the next test in a difficult topic at school easier. But what it is going to do, it's going to help you surf the waves of life without taking a lot of the hits of those waves. And if you do take a hit, which we all do once in a while, you won't be hating on yourself quite as much for it. You might actually have a little empathy for yourself. Say, wow, this is a hard situation. I am capable of navigating this. I'm going to brush myself off. I'm not going to pummel myself with negative criticism. And I'm going to move forward. Thank you very much for watching the video today. I hope it helped. If you are curious about anything that was discussed in this video, I recommend bringing it into therapy with your therapist. Or if you're not in therapy, or if you are and you want to do some private research, type in on Google CBT, schema, negative view of self. These are all keywords. So you can type in CBT, which stands for Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, schema, SCHEMA, and a negative view of self. And you'll find a lot of literature on great research that's been done on all these topics. Secondly, I personally love Dialectical Behavior Therapy's comprehensive skill set of coping skills that go from mind to body, relaxing the mind, relaxing the emotions in the body, building positive experiences, tolerating distress. Oh, it's a buffet and it's a high quality one. So I recommend if you're looking for coping skills, you can go to my DBT specific coping skill playlist, which I have reviewed some there, some mindfulness skills, some breathing based skills, and some sensation based skills, which are really great. And I'll link that playlist here. And then at the same time, you can Google DBT workbook or DBT worksheets, and there's a lot of free content out there. If you would like, there is a very popular one, Marshall Linehan's Skills Workbook. It's a blue book. It's like a soft cover book. It's also in PDF copy or, Kindle, like very legal, legal ways to buy it. On ebook readers and on your iPad and everything like that. So you can find some help there as well. So Again, this is Michael Hartman, licensed mental health counselor. I hope you have a wonderful day or night, whichever way you're watching this. Um, keep taking good care of yourself, and remember, you hold the power as to how you see yourself. Even if it was never, a lot of us, we go through experiences which bang us up, teach us to not like ourselves. You always have the power to turn that message around. If you haven't had validation, seek it within. You're going to find that there's an endless source there. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.